Welcome out to another Dirty Story Night. Remember, this contains extremely explicit content, mature audiences only, and all people, places, characters, etc. are used for parody purposes. We are up to third place of our Bible month, which is Jerome. But before you get to hear his story, please check out IABDpresents.com. That's a multi-platform entertainment content network based right here in Columbus, Ohio. Podcasts, written work, video, and more. All kinds of stuff for your listening pleasure. This week, I want to highlight Jerome's TV reviews. Jerome's who you're about to hear tell a story. You want to hear what he thinks about other people's stories that they tell? Head over to IABDpresents.com. Click on Television Reviews by Jerome Wetzel. He's been a reviewer for over 7 years. Thousands of articles under his belt. He's the chief television critic for Seat42F.com. Also contributes to Blog Critics magazine. So go see what he thinks of the latest television shows coming out. Reviews are often posted before the show's premiere, so you get a little early preview. And now enjoy Jerome's Dirty Story Night. This is a test. Is it recording? Good? Okay, we're going to start. And unfortunately, I got drawn first.
Jimmy, we need you to be louder.
What?
I can't hear you. Speak up.
What?
You speak so softly, man.
This isn't up to speakers anymore. That's just me. Mary Magdalene tried to get Jesus' attention. She didn't know why it was so hard. She was the only girl at the table for his sakes, and she knew he liked her sweet, sweet pussy. So why was he ignoring her? Jesus stood at the middle of the long table, his 12 bitch slaves drooling as they hung on his every word like a bunch of pathetic sissies. Mary knew Jesus loved and made love to all types, rich and poor, old and young, which was legal in this time period, lepers and non-lepers. But how come it was only a certain type of guy that followed him around like a lovesick puppy? Well, and Mary, of course, but that was different. What they shared was love. Take and eat, for this is of my body, intoned Jesus in that hippy-dippy way he had, breaking off a piece of bread. Peter was the first to grab a chunk and shove it in his gross pie hole. Salty. No, duh, said Luke. It's of his body. It's his cum bread. The apostles eagerly grabbed for the loaf, made with Jesus' special sauce. What are we going to wash it down with? Asked Mark. We're out of wine. Jesus then lifted his robe to show off his hermaphroditic genitals, his below-average sized cock and bearded clam, the pubic hair matching the beard on his chin. Jesus did wondrous things with that dick, Mary remembered fondly, which made up for the fact that he was the only white guy in the Middle East, meaning he had a smaller penis. Meaning he had a smaller penis than average. You're welcome. Drink from me, all of ye, you, and ye shall have everlasting life, said Jesus. The smell finally hit Mary. He was on her period. The apostles dropped to their knees, only too happy to lick up their Lord's menstrual fluids. Mary wrinkled her nose. Pass. She'd lick his ass, but even an old hooker like her had a line she wouldn't cross. John and Paul began making out, passing the bloody cocktail back and forth, red staining their unshaven faces. It was pretty damn gross. Mary had to turn away. Absent-mindedly waiting her turn, she grabbed another chunk of cum bread. Damn if Jesus hadn't perfected that recipe over the years. The drinking of the blood was done now, and Jesus disrobed completely. For dessert, you may stick your pricks within the holy vajayjay for 60 seconds each. But please pull out. King Herod Trump has taken away thine birth control. The apostles lined up eagerly, pushing and shoving to be the first to ram their flesh into their Savior and hear him scream his own name over and over again. Matthew was serving his fluffer, working 3 at a time with his hands and mouth, readying them for their blessed sacrament. Mary climbed up on the table and sunk herself deep onto the pale prophet's pogo pole. Being the only woman, she didn't have to wait in line, preferring the hot dog to the taco, though she did have a wooden strap-on that Jesus' father had given them for a housewarming gift when Mary and Jesus had gotten their first apartment together. Joseph was quite the skilled carpenter. Neither of one of them had ever gotten a splinter. Oh! "Oof," cried out Jesus in pain. "One of you has betrayed me." Mary glanced back over her shoulder as she continued to crank Christ's cock in her cozy cooter. Judas was smiling, his dick shit-covered as it hammered the holiest of holes, the anus. "Ain't I a stinker?" he asked, and even Jesus laughed at that one. Finally, each had their turn, and Jesus rose to bless them all, even Judas. They all left satisfied, unaware that this was their last supper together, as Republican Senator Pontius Pilate of Alabama had Jesus executed the next day for immoral, homosexual, and perverted acts.